Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zia Herbacio. In tonight's Game Plan, we'll break down what is to come in the upcoming Final Four of the UAAP Season 85 Men's Basketball Tournament.
We'll also look ahead to the exciting playoff matchups in the PBA Commissioner's Cup. And we'll catch up with Denice Zamboanga as she returns to her winning ways in one Fight Night 5. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. It's the beginning of the collegiate basketball's postseason as the UP5 Maroons are set to face the NU Bulldogs and the Ateneo Blue Eagles go up against the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Joining us to talk about these matchups is basketball analyst Coach Luigi Trillo. Coach, how are you doing?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, guys. I'm good. Nice to see you guys.
Coach, thank you very much for coming on and giving us a bit of your time. Let's start off first with the 1-4 matchup in Ateneo and Adamson. Twice to beat ang Ateneo sa matchup na to. It's a lot of people are going to be wondering whether or not a rest or rust issue will be happening early. Of course, Adamson had to play a playoff to even make it to this matchup, and Ateneo, a bit of rest. In fact, we saw Coach Tab Baldwin watch that game live against LaSalle and Adamson at the venue. How do you look at this matchup, and are Adamson going to feel a bit tired once everything starts going?
That's a good point, Pao. Well, I think for Adamson, I think it's a plus that they got that knockout game because it puts them in a situation that the intensity of what a Final Four will be, right? And I think that added game allowed Lastimosa to play. I know that he's coming off an injury, and I think this helped him. It got them confident. They had to go into overtime. They had to squeak out. This kind that will prepare them to try to upset Ateneo, right? With Ateneo, obviously, they've had time to prepare. I think Coach Tab and his coaching staff welcome that, and they'll be ready for the Soaring Falcons.
That's right, and I've seen it happen a couple of times wherein momentum really played a huge part, especially as you mentioned, this is going to be another round, another stretch of series in the semifinals. So I feel like Adamson might have the edge a little bit, but you mentioned Lastimosa, and I wanted to ask you, Coach Luigi, which player matchup are you excited to see?
Well, there are a lot of player matchups here, right? For Ateneo, you have Kwame, you have Padrigao at the point guard, you have Balungay who does well, and then for Adamson, obviously Lastimosa. Lastimosa is their main guy. I want to see how Ateneo will take away his ISOs. We know that Adamson runs some plays. Once he gets the ball, he's lethal from all over. He can do it from inside. He can do it with step-back threes. He is a scorer and a spark plug. And to beat Ateneo, they have to have a guy who can put the ball in the hole, right? So that's an interesting thing to see for me. I also want to see Kwame, okay, and how he does against Duanga. Duanga has shown that he has a perimeter shot and he can match up with Kwame. It's obviously different in the Final Four, but they have Adamson, the Falcons have the pieces to match up, and somebody who I think Ateneo has to watch out for is Manzano. He's a guy, him and Duanga, I feel for Adamson, are the main bigs.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of depth there, so these two have to come to play.
All right, so Coach's signal right now is... sorry, Coach, I think your connection has disappeared a bit. So at the meantime, Z, of course, just a reminder to all our viewers that Ateneo is going to be a tough matchup because they have the longest winning streak here in the UAAP so far at 6 games. So we're going to try with Coach Luigi again. Coach Luigi, are you there? All right, so we have a bit of an issue here with Coach Luigi, but then, Z, I'm sure you know the playoff atmosphere, Final Four atmosphere, and Ateneo fans in particular could be really rowdy, especially when things are going the right way.
Definitely, and you mentioned they have a 6-0 run, and not to mention they have the twice-to-beat advantage in this series, so a lot of people are looking forward to that last win, but I don't know, what do you think should fans look out for between the Battle of the Bluebirds?
You know what? First of all, thank you very much for using the Battle of the Bluebirds.
Yes.
I like that. It's a lot better than when I call it the Birdie Derby.
Oh my goodness.
But then, when you take a look at these two teams, of course, Ateneo Blue Eagles, as we mentioned a while ago, one of the league runners in terms of the win streak. And it feels like they're hitting their stride at the very right time. On the other hand, Adamson finally healthy. Remember, nawala si Jerome Lastimosa for quite a long stretch. And all of a sudden, a lot of people used to say, uy, itong Jerome Lastimosa, you take him out of the game, you take him out of Adamson, then all of a sudden they struggle. But I think we saw last time, especially that last game against Ateneo, that they had AP Manlapas was a big factor, and I'm sure the others will be there as well. So let's move on to the other matchup first as we wait for Coach Luigi Trillo. He'll be back with us later on in the show, hopefully. The UP versus NU matchup is going to be interesting. Coach Luigi, are you there?
I think he's here.
I'm here.
All right,
Yes.
perfect. So we talked a bit about the Ateneo-Adamson matchup just a while ago, but then for the interest of time, let's move on here to the UP-NU matchup. It feels like NU in particular if there are some teams that are hitting their stride, NU feels like it's a team that suddenly ran into a bad patch of form because of their recent losses. They should have had the twice to beat advantage, but now have the twice to win disadvantage. How do you look at NU in particular going into this matchup against UP?
Well, clearly UP are the favorites. You know, they have everything in terms of they've got the experience coming back. They have the three bigs. Juf, obviously Lucero, Tamayo is the main guy for them. They have a lot of explosive guards, okay? Tagulangan, Spencer, Abadiano, Larcon. But also when you look at NU, it's nobody I think really thought that they should be here. If you think about it before this, they were probably ranked 4th, 5th, maybe a 3rd. They've upset a lot of teams here, and they deserve to be here. The question for them is, will they be happy just to be here? And it's a very different atmosphere, guys, when you're playing in front of a large crowd in a Final Four.
Yes.
It's their first time, so I think that's a disadvantage for them. I'm sure Coach Jeff Napa has it very prepared. He has a battalion of good coaches there helping them out. They play physical, just like UP, okay? And they like to rebound. So I think this is going to be an exciting game in terms of who will control the board. The physicality will be on point. You know, two explosive point guards. You've got Baklan and Tagulangan, both like to defend. But my personal feeling was UP will be too tough for them. I'll go out on a limb here and say UP should take this one.
How about you mentioned that the NU Bulldogs are into the 0-2 run, plus they lack experience at this stage of the tournament. How about putting the fact that UP lost to Ateneo in their last match? Does that kill their momentum, and would that affect their performance in the semis?
I think a team like UP or Ateneo, when they lose, I wouldn't want to be a team that would face them next because they're brought down to earth. I mean, if they're the two teams that are playing well, and you rarely see these teams lose, most especially UP. They're the defending champions, right? So they're gonna come in with a lot of humility and a lot of things to fix. And when you have them hungry like that, it would be shocking for me to see them lose 2 in a row. You know, they have that. And I think they'll be the first game you want to end it. So I think the pressure will be on NU. I think NU will be shocked with what it's like to play in the Final Four. Not taking anything away from Coach Jeff Napa and his staff.
Yeah.
He's done a really tremendous job of bringing them here. And I don't think a lot of people thought that they could reach number 3. But once they get into a Final Four, though it's a 50-50 chance, I think the experience of UP and the depth may favor them. Maybe.
Oh yeah, Coach Luigi, of course, that's going to be a very interesting thing to watch out for because for some reason, the light shine brighter once the Final Four happens. And for the NU Bulldogs, they have to get used to that fact. So let's see whether if they shine or they wilt under that type of pressure. But Coach, don't go away because we have a lot more with you.
All right, so don't miss out on the UAAP Final Four action starting tomorrow, December 7. And catch the games live on the UAAP Varsity Channel 1 Sports Signal Play and Smart Live Stream. And after the break, we'll look ahead to the exciting playoff matchups in the PBA Commissioner's Cup this time. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. PBA fans, it's time for playoff basketball. And still with us to preview the exciting matchups in the ongoing Commissioner's Cup is PBA Rush analyst, Coach Luigi Trillo. Coach, thank you for staying. And this time, usap naman tayo about PBA.
Of course.
All right. Let's pull out the standings graphics right now. I wanted to ask you something about the standings. So far, we got Bay Area, Magnolia, Ginebra, and Converge in the top 4. Looking at the standings right now, are there any surprises for you? Na team in a certain situation?
Well, Northport and Phoenix. I mean, we know that they've lost people over the years, right? And Phoenix, they lost Banquero, they lost some guys to injury, they lost Matthew Wright, and still they're there in the Final Four. So kudos to Coach Topex. Tremendous job there just to come in. Northport, obviously, some people thought that the trade for Malonza favored Ginebra, but you know, the guys who got traded to Northport are helping and chipping in, and Coach Pido has more pieces there. So they found a way to win, right? So of those 8, I think the surprises there are the 2. I think Rain or Shine, although they're there, and Coach Yang is there, I just look at them, they're a team that has the talent already. They just haven't been consistently there. But they have the pieces and they should be there. So I'm not surprised that Rain or Shine made it.
Yeah, you know, it's a very, for Rain or Shine that you're discussing, they're a very young team and all of them are still learning Coach Yang basketball, which I'm sure is an adventure for all of them. And you mentioned a while ago the surprises are Northport and Phoenix. But let's focus on some of the matchups happening tomorrow for the first quarterfinals. Of course, the Converge will be going up against San Miguel. You look at this matchup, Converge at one point had a twice-to-beat advantage almost in the back. They were so hot in the middle of the season. Are we seeing now a bit of a regression? People are scouting them more and they're not as surprising as they used to? Or do you feel that it's just a little rough patch and that they should reach the levels that they did get to when they went on that amazing run?
I think what really affected them was the discipline part, right? When their import Miller wasn't allowed to play. I think they had a flow there, and obviously Coach Ayo stood his ground, and I think he's looking for the future, right? He's not win at all costs, right? But certainly San Miguel is on the right track. Junmar's back. You know San Miguel is deadly, most especially in a series. In a best of 3, you have to beat them twice. In a best of 5, 3 times. In a 7-game series, 4 times. So it's gonna be tough. I think this series is fun to watch. One likes to run and push the pace and get shots quickly. They also like to isolate their import on the perimeter, right? That's Converge. On the other hand, you have San Miguel that they play on their own terms and pace. They like to dump the ball into Kumar. They like to isolate people on top, right? They have their import that's good in the low block. So I think it's going to be a game of who can dictate pace, right? Does San Miguel power them down and really dominate at the half court, or does Converge really show them that you cannot match up to us? We run down, and your bigs cannot match up with our high octane offense.
Well, Coach, you mentioned it a while ago, that's a key for you who can control the pace. And with that, I actually wanted to ask, because here, San Miguel are actually the lower seeded team. And it feels so strange to me to consider that the San Miguel Beermen are the 5th seed, and they just got back a Junmar Fajardo. They just got back a Terrence Romeo, who's been shooting the ball well. Marshall Laster turned back the clock and is now shooting at a very high rate, one of the highest rates in his career. I mean, looking at this, do we look at the higher seed as the underdog in this one, or do you feel it's more even than people give it credit for?
I think that the higher speed approach is something that even if they're a fifth, I think this game, because of their experience, Coach Leo's won a lot of championships. I think Coach Ayo's a great coach, a good tactician. He thinks the game differently, and he's brought Converge to the semis, which they haven't done in a very long time, even since the Alaska League, right? So kudos to him. But I agree with you here. And if you're asking me that question, I feel that San Miguel, because of their experience, because Dumar is back and he was injured for a while, and because their import now has gotten a better feel, he's gotten a better feel of the San Miguel team, Scott, where he knows how to play the game better, he knows his teammates better. I think and the momentum is with them. I think San Miguel. With Converge, there are a lot of questions here. You know, you haven't seen Miller play after what happened in the disciplining, right? And Converge losing, and again, it's the semifinals, right? So just a little bit, by a little bit. But even if San Miguel's the favorite, I think that's good for Converge.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're going to move on to the next matchup here.
Yeah, let's get on the 3rd and 6th seed this time, Ginebra versus Northport. Now, Ginebra has been on a 2-0 winning streak. What do you think? Do they have the edge to win in this matchup?
Certainly, I think Ginebra does, just because of their experience as well, and you can't argue with the success they've had, right? So they've the past 2 conferences, they've won championships, they've been there. I think they're coming to the fore where the guys they traded for are starting to get a feel of things, and they have the versatility. Grace coming into the fore, Alonzo obviously with Pila, so he's confidence at an all-time high. And these two are learning how to play with the guys. I think the coaching staff has done a great job of giving them defined roles. It's like Stan Hardinger has a role, right? Before he was the #1 scorer with Northport. He comes to Ginebra, now he has to take on that role as guarding the best big man or the import of the other team. So they're coming to the fore, and obviously Magic Brownlee. He's won. Every time Brownlee's been there, great attitude first of all, tremendous talent. He seems like he knows what to do, and he plays the game with such poise. And I think the key here for them is when Brownlee has the ball in his hands, he always makes the right play. Him and Scotty. So, if the whole game they're allowed to dictate and just decide and be the decision makers between Scotty and him, then he never's in their flow. They're in their passing game, right? You turn it over to Northport, they have nothing to lose. I'm sure the guys who were traded from Ginebra have something to prove.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
And I can see them making it difficult because Ginebra is expected to win. Just like Magnolia, I don't think anybody could really say that Northport really has a chance. You ask experts, and you go by the numbers, and you go by the longevity and the chemistry and all that, I think people will say Ginebra. But can Northport knock them one time to move it to a second game? Certainly. I think that they put some pressure in, they keep the game close, they have some certain points of attack, and they don't get Ginebra comfortable making things easy.
Well, Coach.
Wise, scoring wise.
Coach, I absolutely agree, especially when you have guys like Robert Bolick, Will Navarro on the team, Arvin Tolentino as well. Northport do have a lot of guys who can cause a lot of damage. But Coach, unfortunately, we have to end our analysis there so we can just focus on the game tomorrow. Really appreciate your time and really hope we get to see you again really soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
So after the break, we'll find out the latest from Denice Zamboanga after her emotional win in the One Championship Circle. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching The Game. Filipino MMA fans were treated to an exciting event at the One Championship Circle for One Fight Night 5. Denice Zamboanga got an emotional win over her Chinese opponent in front of the home crowd. The Menace herself joins us tonight. Good evening, Denice. Kamusta ka naman?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Okay lang.
No worries. You look like you didn't get into a fight. Just so you know.
Yes.
Pero, ito, okay. Split decision. I am 100% sure na marami kang iniisip nung sinabi na via split decision yung magiging resulta ng laban. What went through your head nung nalaman mo that it was going to be split decision, and how long would the 30 seconds after na sinabi split decision yung result?
Siguro, same feeling ng mga audience, na yung kaba nila. Siguro, mas kabado sa side ko kasi syempre, last fight ko, split din, decision din. So, iba yung feeling na split decision. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, ito na naman ba? Siya na naman ba tayo? Split na naman ba?
But this time, it's a win. So again,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Gusto ko naman kitang tanungin, anong feeling, alam ko, this is the first time na you competed na one championship dito sa Manila, hometown mo. How does it feel na parang home court advantage ba?
For me, may konting pressure. Kasi
Okay.
syempre, di ba,
Oo.
Filipino fans andun
Yes.
nagpunta sa'yo, tas ang aga pa nung game. So, iba yung feeling din na marinig yung mga cheer ng fellow Filipinos.
Adjustment ba yun? Kasi, again, relatively early. This was on Fight Night 5, and it was at 10 a.m. I think yung simula ng card, or and around that time. Adjustment ba yun sa'yo, yung time of the fight?
I need to adjust, especially yung time ng training ko kasi hindi ako talaga morning person.
Really?
Yes. Tapos and may mga training kasi kami ng evening. So,
Okay.
I need to end like 9 a.m. finish training so I can rest and eat pa. Kasi
Oo.
kapag we finish like late evening, it's hard to sleep na sa gabi.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Oo.
Let's go to your record. Ngayon, it's 9-2 na ngayon. But before, it was 8-0.
Yeah.
And then naging 8-2. Tapos, anong ginawa mo? Anong klaseng preparation? Anong kakaiba yung ginawa mo para masigurado mo na magiging 9-2 over the weekend?
Sobrang daming challenges yung ginawa ko eh. Kasi talagang, alam mo yung feeling na galing ako sa undefeated, tapos
Right.
isang tao lang yung nakatalo sa akin, which is siya. Tapos,
Siya. Oh,
who must not be named.
Okay, Shohiham. You don't have to say it. Ako na lang bahala para sa mga fans mo. But yes, okay. So, siya.
siya. So, ayun nga, sabi ko sa sarili ko, after nung next fight ko, siguraduhin ko na puro panalo na.
How did that affect you mentally? Kasi it's one thing being undefeated, tapos bilang
Yeah.
natalo ka.
Yeah.
Not once, pero twice. How did that affect you mentally? Anong ginawa mo to get right, in the right state of mind to finally get yung win na to?
Sa akin, inano ko na lang siya, inisip ko na lang siya as advantage ko kasi, kasi ako lang yung lumaban kay Ham sa buong 1-1 championship. Ako lang yung lumaban kay Sohee Ham, which is most experienced fighter and number 1 outside Asia, outside organization. So, parang inano ko na lang siya as advantage kasi nakalaban ako ng most experienced fighter. Veteran.
And of course, the question is right now, what's next for you? Ano yung wish list mo? And of course, what can the fans expect in the next coming months?
Yes, gusto kong mabalik yung number 1 rank ko. Siyempre, gusto kong magtuloy-tuloy yung panalo. Tapos, siyempre, goal ko pa rin is to get the championship title shot.
Yes.
Ayun.
We're hoping na makuha mo yung wish niya,
Yes,
especially
thank
ngayong
you.
Pasko, na ngayon magbabagong taon. Yes, we are behind you on that wish.
Thank you.
Denise.
Denise, maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself and you can fix your body clock na. You don't have to fight in the morning anymore.
Yes.
Oo. Alright, maraming salamat.
Thank you.
All right, before we wrap up, we've got the latest news from the Premier Volleyball League. The Creamline Cool Smashers take home the bronze to wrap up their conference, and you can also catch the ongoing game. Ano na bang set niyan, pa?
It's set
Fourth
number 4, 2
Yes.
sets to 1 in favor of Petrogas. And at the moment, literal at
the
this
moment.
moment, is 11-7 in
That's
favor of
why
Petrogas.
tune in to One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and Smart Live Stream. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
And I'm Paolo Del Rosario. This has been The Game.